Right, it has been 4 months. Let's give this a go. Okay, Twitch is up. YouTube looks like it's up. I think we've got everything. This is... You still got it. It took a little while. Still got it, though. Sound. Right, if anyone's in chat right now, if anyone can let me know everything's all working their side, so audio, video, everything like that. Like I said, it's been 4 months. I think I've got everything. Let's just make sure. Yes, hello everyone, how's it going? It's been a while. I've already got a few people over in the chat. Darth's already here, got your boss. Well, thank you so much for popping in. Dan, obviously it's good to see you. I imagine you're going to be playing some Delta Force very, very shortly with our good old Benzo, if that's the case. Walter's already over here on our Twitch. Twitch looks fine according to Booster Catter, which is fantastic. Thank you so much. I know you're off to bed shortly, so I do appreciate you just double checking that for me. Sapgay's made it as well. Hey, it's good to see you as well. How's everything going on your side? Is Synced Up still going well? I need to actually catch up with you at some point just to find out and get in like a bit of an update on that. And thank you so much for the follow there, Darth. Yeah, everything's all... Wow, this actually went a lot smoother than I was expecting it to. I'm happy with that. I really was expecting to hear some teething issues. Might drop around your house just to interrupt the stream. If you do that, you're going to wake up the child and you're going to wake up the wife, and it'll be them that you're answering to. Darth, which platform do you prefer? To be completely honest with you, probably going to be the Twitch side of things. I would like to actually grow that at some point, see if we can actually make it into the partner side of things. No, partner's 75, isn't it? Essentially the one where we get 3 on average per stream, so we can actually start having a look at subs and all the fancy stuff that you can actually start doing over on the Twitch side. So ideally that side, but either one's absolutely fine. I'm sure we can start sorting that as soon as we start doing a little bit more of a... Getting a bit more regular with these streams and everything. Like affiliate? No, not affiliate just yet. I did actually have... I think I got to around about something like 2.7 average, I think it was. I got really, really close, and then good old child decided that he wanted to appear a month early, didn't he? So he got rid of the need for that. So, but yeah, we'll start growing that again. It's fine. You know, I mean, to be fair, TFT is actually starting to take off a little bit more on Twitch. Some of the main popular streamers are actually hitting 150 to 200 concurrent viewers. So must be doing well. Right, I did promise someone that I would quickly have a look at Haley. And just test something over in the laboratory, and then I can quickly get into like all the daily stuff and everything like that. There we are. Currently deep into Fate Trigger. Was that the anime style battle royale? Is that still going strong? Has that actually come out of early access just yet? Be around in a sec, dropping a humidifier and dressing gown around. I assume it's not your dressing gown that you're going to be dropping off. That would be very odd if you were going to be doing something like that. Right, so what have we got here? Just purely crit damage, so we're all good. Holy, how many presets do you have? Well, I've got up to 42 at the moment, but I haven't fully filled every single one of these. No, Duff, you can't drop a sub just yet because I have to hit affiliate first. So you can't do anything like that, unfortunately. You can join the membership squad over on the YouTube side of things, but we only charge... It's been a while since I had a look at it. I think it's only $1.99 a month. It's just purely there just to be able to show a little bit of support. You get a special role over in the Discord, and... Yeah, but, I mean, to be fair, you've already got a special role in the Discord, so I don't think you're going to be too fussed about that side of things. 9AX for a new test. Oh, okay, fair enough then. Oh, cool. And you're still taking up the esports tournament side of things with that, yeah, I assume? Thank you for the follow there, Daddy Issue 79. I do appreciate you stopping by and dropping that for me. But yeah, that's the reason why I got so many presets for this was purely down to the fact that I was going back and forth between so many builds. I wanted to keep some of my personal builds around. I want to be able to, do all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's purely what it was all down to, and everything like that. So, yeah. Duff sponsor the channel. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate you, dropping a little bit towards it. It is just purely there, it's just to be able to get like a little shout out at the end of every single video. It's just to support it a little bit. I don't ask for much. It is just there just to purely help a little bit. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Right, so I was going to be testing out, if I remember right, it was to do with Cold Heart, and it was to do with this critical hit rate. Now, one thing that we're checking is, as you can see, just purely crit mods. So we have the 3 here. There's no skill insight. There's no crit hit rate on the Ancestor mod, so we're all good there. So if we activate Cold Heart, this will be stacking us up to... Does this go to 30 if I remember right? No, it just goes to 16. It's the other mod that goes to 30. And we get base critical hit rate for every single one of those stacks. 16. That will get us up to, what, 24 base, if I remember right? So that gets us to around about 65% crit hit rate. Now, of course, that isn't 100%. And it's never going to look like it's going to be 100% because if we swap this over to, let's go to max. Probably shouldn't have gone for that many people, because then the damage numbers are a little bit difficult to... let's drop it down. No, God damn it. There we go. So as you can see, if it was genuinely 65%, this would at some point have dropped. Like there, it just dropped one of them. I don't know if it's based on range, but essentially when I was doing some tests with this, I found out that it was basically critting pretty much almost all the time. And that is the reason why we can get away with 65% hit rate, is because it is doing something in the background. It's very similar to... I was going to say Viessa, but it's not Viessa because I think she does add it into her calc, so it's not going to be that one. There is someone else that has something going on with the passive, and it's working in the background because it's got an extra thing going on with it. So, for example, because this one mentions distance, it bases... so the closer you are in this case, I think 25 meters is probably going to be the max range in that case, because it mentions about close range. Yeah, essentially that's basically the reason why, is because you will be noticing that we are probably more in line with like 90% or something like that. Yeah, granted every now and then there isn't going to be a critical hit, but that's the reason why. So we essentially just invest as much as possible. That 15% is going to be base. That gets chucked into every single one of these calculations, and because we have 15, we've got the 32% that's going to be coming from the arcade tuning. We've also got 92% from here, so that will be around about 120% of that. So that 15% plus the 120% is roughly another 15% on top of it. So that makes it another 27. And then once you chuck 27 onto here, that brings it up to around about 92%. And that is the reason why we're able to crit so often, at the same time as, every now and then there's going to be a non-crit one. Now, of course, you can make that 100% if you did want to go for Skill Insight. I personally stay away from Skill Insight just because it just gives you the crit rate, and I just don't think it justifies enough to be able to give you that extra 8%, to be able to get to the crit cap and everything like that, considering how often you're going to be critting with this build anyway. So, yeah, it's absolutely fine. And then, of course, all your crit rate goes into Speed Dominator. Or Relative Speed, sorry, Speed Dominator's the extra mod, but Relative Speed. And that gets chucked into that, because this does actually go off of your skill critical hit rate as well. So, that's the reason why we do lose around about... I'm guessing, based on the figures, we're losing around about 7 to 8% in terms of critical hit rate, so we are around about 92, 93%. So you are a little bit short of the cap, so every now and then you won't have a critical hit. But, like I said, can't really justify putting Skill Insight into here. If you do get critical hit rates on your Ancestor mod, I mean, this is not a great Ancestor mod, to be completely honest with you, because we only have skill critical hit damage that's just kind of feeding into this. Ideally, you would want... I've got all these Ancestor mods. I actually haven't been through these. That's not a bad one, to be fair. Probably could get away with that. But ideally, you would want crit rate. Is this everything singular, if I remember right? Yeah. Probably crit damage, singular, and chill ratios. And that will be the most. By the way, can I run relative speed without Speed Dominator? Yeah, absolutely. So Speed Dominator is just purely in here just to be able to give us additional skill power. And it's also going to be giving us the extra skill critical hit damage. So the reason why we use that is to be able to create buckets against Focus on Chill. Along with like what we've got with Slayer set as well. If you wanted to go for additional HP, if you do have an Ancestor mod that does give you a little bit of cooldown, as well as like all the other stats and all that kind of thing, you probably could drop Focus on Singular, because that's probably doing the least in terms of like the amount of damage. Speed Dominator's doing the most against like Focus on Chill and all that kind of thing, because it is base skill power, and it's also giving you the extra critical hit damage as well. But Singular, because the modifiers are relatively high, especially against a 4th, you're not going to be gaining much of a damage increase. This is mainly here for that skill cooldown, but if you can get that from your Ancestor mod, you can absolutely just drop that and be able to go into HP. You can also drop Speed Dominator. You will lose a little bit of damage, but you know, you absolutely still can go for HP there. The main ones that I probably wouldn't recommend that you do are going to be your cooldowns, because you do want to spam your 1, you do want to spam your 4. You do want your crit mods, so you're going to have to want to keep those. You do want your chill skill power at the very least, so Focus on Chill is going to be staying in here. So yeah, in terms of the main kind of flex spots, Focus on Singular if you're able to get cooldown on your Ancestor mod, and if not, you can just drop Speed Dominator, so that would be absolutely fine. This is just essentially best in slot, but you know, this is fully available for you to be able to take away, to be able to customize for yourself. You don't have to stick with what I'm currently using here. So I know some people, you also swap relative speed. I'd probably say if you are going for if you're going to take Speed Dominator off, maybe take off relative speed. I do really like this mod, but if you are going to take off that yellow mod, then I'd probably just stick with, I think Power Beyond's just pretty much still, yeah. Then just chuck in a 15% skill power increase, Power Beyond, and you'll be absolutely fine. So that will help you out a little bit more when it comes to DPS as well. So yeah, that's essentially Haley. The other build that I haven't had a chance to be able to actually sort out, just to, well, I'm still in Frost, aren't I? There we go. Yeah, the other one that I haven't been able to put pen to paper to be able to sort out a build is going to be Sneaky Beaky, which is camouflage sniping. This is a fantastic build. Is this the one that goes to 30? Yeah, that's the one that goes to 30, that's why. This one, you're essentially just kind of wiping the floor with, you know, just your sniper shots. But it does it's such insane damage, and with a massive amount of range as well. It goes up to 20 meters, I believe, so we're just shy of the cap with this build. But yeah, camouflage sniping is a lot more fun. It's less mobile, but it is just as damaging. And you can get away with HP on this one. There'll be a little bit more survivability because this does put you invisible. So you do have options when it comes to Haley with the brand new mods as well. So there we go. Dogs, good to be lurking. Got to focus back on work. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for stopping by as well. So I do appreciate the lurk. I really got to go to bed, so thanks again for the help and have a good stream. No, I appreciate that, absolutely. Yeah, you've got me over on Discord as well, so if you have any questions, if you just want to bounce a few ideas off me or anything along those kind of lines, absolutely feel free to just try and catch me over on there, and I will absolutely help out where I can. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm here for, so there's no point otherwise. So yeah, absolutely, feel free, not a problem. Right, so let's get back to what we were going to be doing. So for anyone that's joined in the stream and isn't fully aware as to what's going to be currently happening, planning on sorting Pray the Flossless. Master Z's here. Hey, how's it going? First time chat as well. Oh, fantastic. Sorry, just catching up on a few notifications. Just having a look. Yeah, that's great. How is it going, Z? Right, get dailies out the way, we do want to use a little bit of Freyna. She pretty much is the fastest way to be able to get everything cleared. What have we got here? Group emotes, that's easy enough to do. 2 mil, that's nice and easy. We won't be using fire today, so let's just shuffle that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, nice and easy ones. Nope. Come on. There we go. It's nice and simple. Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Yeah, no, just, well, celebrating the workday, celebrating the 2-year anniversary of the channel, and wow, 2 years just really just kind of disappeared. So yeah, just settling back into it. Like, it's been 4 months since I've I've done this, so yeah, it's a bit of a shock to the system. Johnny's here. Hey, how's it going, Johnny? I appreciate you stopping by. Let me know how your day's been. Happy Monday. Got to match the video voice with the face now. I hope it's met up to your standards. That's the only thing I can hope. Thank you so much for the follow there, Johnny. I do appreciate that as well. We are definitely going to be trying to grow the Twitch side definitely this year. Really hoping to get a bit more of these stream times kind of going, and I kind of miss it, to be fair. It was really nice, like, bonding with like the community and just kind of catching up, answering a few questions live. Just because I know I'm a little bit slow on the YouTube video side of things, just because I don't have as much spare time. But yeah, it's nice to kick back, nice to play a few games with some people, just kind of sitting in the chat. So, oh, Daft, stop it! You're gonna make me you're gonna make me blush if you carry this on. You're doing good, yeah. No, everything's all good this side. Yeah, it's a bit of a shock to the system to boot up the old streaming software. I've already had a couple of teething issues, but that's because it's been so long I've forgotten how it works. So, but I think we're all good now. Nothing that a quick Google couldn't sort. But yeah, no, it's good to finally have a little bit more free time sorted out. Been enjoying the content creation a little bit more recently, and you know, I think the burnout is definitely at bay for the time being. So, I think the main question is, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really enjoying like still covering TFD and all that kind of thing. It's just a case of where do we go from here? I mean, I've been covering TFD for the best part of like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that now, close to that. As much as I'd love this game to, you know, be what the channel's made of and all that kind of thing, you know, I've got to be a bit of a realist and, you know, understand that there's a few more games out there. I've got to start branching out. So, some definitely some decisions to make up this year at some point. So, honestly, who are your top 3 faves right now to play? Ooh. To be fair, I've always had a soft spot for playing as Freyna, just because ever since she got a rework into what she is basically now, I've always been like a damage over time kind of like person. Just enjoyed that side of things, just to try and get the most out of them. So I've got to give it to Freyna for that. The main one that I just cannot get my head, I just refuse to play is Serena right now. It's one of those that she's just so strong at everything that I just find her unfun. But I understand that I'm absolutely in the minority about that one. That's not changing anytime soon. Viessa is a lot of fun. I think Viessa is probably one of the most satisfying descendants to currently run. Probably put her close, maybe either first or second in terms of most fun to play. I do wish that she had a little bit more range, but I just find her so impactful as soon as you actually kind of like use her out and about. Who else we got? Lepic's pretty solid. I am a massive Blair fan. I mean, most people probably already know that about me. Haley's pretty solid. Glay with Demonic and Blood and Iron is pretty damn fun nowadays. I want Essimo to be really, really fun, So I'm hoping that his ultimate, or when he gets his bit of his rework, he's going to be an absolute blast to play. But that might be about it, really. Yeah, it's probably going to be a bit of a hot take, I suppose, actually, come to think of it. So it's probably going to be Viessa number 1, Blair second, and then Freyna third. And I absolutely know that no one else is going to share that opinion. I know I'm going to be alone in that thought. So, but that's fine. You know, I'm happy to take that one on the chin. I see you play Blair a lot, yeah, and I wouldn't even put Ciri in top 7. Don't get me wrong, she's literally top 1 when it comes to like the strongest Ascendant that currently exists in the game right now. But it's just a case of, is the power fancy a little bit too much at that point? And for me personally, I just find that she's way too OP, overpowered, to way too like out there to be able to find satisfying to play. That's just me, you know. That's it, you know, it is what it is. But you know, everyone else, you know, might enjoy that kind of thing. Perfectly reasonable, but for me, nah, I'm alright, thank you. I like a little bit of like complexity to my builds and all that kind of thing. So, Madmus, hey, hey, Songs, how's it? Hey there, Madmus, how's it going? Yeah, so thank you so much for stopping by. First time chat as well over on the Twitch. It's good to see you. Yeah, what's happening? What's new with yourself? It's it's been a while. It's been a while being here. Oh, Johnny, should I give you the Haney mod? Yes. Let me get this mission done, and then we can sort that out. Because yeah, I did say I would grab that from you today. Sorry, everything's just been a little bit of a mess, a little bit of a manic. Absolutely, yeah. We'll just blast through this as quickly as possible. Honestly, Dia seems really fun so far. She is a lot of fun. I think. Okay, I didn't find Dia fun originally. If it wasn't for the fact that her Ancestor mods fixed a lot of like cooldown. I think cooldown is probably the biggest issue when it comes to Dia. Because I really hated the arcade tuning grind for herself. And if it wasn't for the fact that once I eventually got an Ancestor mod that allowed me to have extra cooldown so I could start hitting cap, I probably still would hate her. Because the way the kind of rotation all kind of comes together, it relies so much on itself that it just wasn't fun to begin with. But once you get her to cooldown cap, absolutely fine. Yeah, no, she's great. You know, quite a satisfying combo player, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, in the beginning, she's rough to be able to play with the. To get arcade tuning leveling up and all that kind of thing. What else we got here? How you doing, man? Yeah, I'm all good, thank you, Madness. Yeah, it's good to be back, to be fair. I've left this way too long. But do you know what? I can't complain. 4-year-old's doing well, I'm doing well, wife's doing well. Everything's all going well at the moment, so... I mean, what more can you possibly ask for, I suppose? I mean, I'm more than happy with all that. Of course, it's crap mods, isn't it? Well. The game's too much power for the current content at hand. TFT desperately needs endgame content and unnerf the Colossi battles. Absolutely, GG, thanks. You're completely right there. In fact, I think we were having a conversation over in the Discord talking about something like that. We've got a few people that were... talking about like what the old days with like the hard Colossi and all that kind of thing, and I remember the original like Devourer. Did I claim all the stuff I needed from here? Yeah, it did. We'll just claim that. Yeah, like I remember Devourer being absolutely solid, and now it's become a bit of a pushover. I remember Frostwalker, everyone having to be able to target the legs, and no one could actually do it, and then everyone getting wiped. I remember Gluttony being the biggest skill check that ever existed in the game. And people not understanding the mechanic, they didn't understand how to deal with the wipe. You know, Lepic wasn't able to actually one-burst him down with fireballs or anything like that. It was crazy. Like, the difference between what we have right now compared to what it used to be. And I think the main issue that we had with that was they had the amorphous materials, like the way to unlock them was tied behind fighting those battles, and now that's not the case anymore. I think you could probably get away. Like if you took like, because they've now taken that mechanic away and they don't force you to go into specific fights, you absolutely could bring that power level back to those colossi. There's no reason to keep them as they currently are. And I know they said they were going to rework them and all that kind of thing, but so far it's just not. You know, it is what it is. You know, there's so much more they can do. I mean, it feels like the Abyss fights that we currently have. You know, should be the difficulty that's in there, and then they should be going even harder. But you know, hey, whatever. Johnny, you're gonna have to remind me, how much did you want for this again? I completely forgot. It's been a few days. Oh, Dutty. That's what that is. Glad to hear it. Darth, I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, by the way. No, absolutely not. I mean, that's the whole point of having these chats. Surely, you know, feel free. You talk away. You do what you need to. Thebum, glad to catch you live. Love you, Buzz. Oh, thank you so much. No, I really do appreciate that. You know, that's heck. I mean, that's what I do it for. But no, I do. It means a lot. Thank you so much. You know, little comments like that, whether it's in like comments on the videos, comments on streams, things like that, they absolutely do make my day, and it just kind of makes it worthwhile and everything like that. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. How's your day going anyway? Johnny, where are you? How much did you want for this again? Still 100, was it? 100, yeah. No, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, I've just checked back, to be fair. As long as you're certain with this. Fair enough, then. Cheers, Johnny. I'll get that put on my Haley shortly, then. Right, let's swap to... because we can't use Contagion everywhere. Do you agree that Dire is more fun to play than Harris? Yes. Yeah, no, I would say that. Yeah, because Harris was fun when she first came out. She had like a really nice power level and everything like that, but I do think that Dire does everything that Harris does, but so much better. You literally are so much faster. You've got tow. You've got reliable tow anyway, in a massive range. And then your fourth hits so much harder. And she's a crit descendant, which Harris absolutely suffers because she cannot go crit. So, yeah, it's a shame, because Harris is kind of fun, but Dire essentially is that meme where it's like, she's me, but so much better, or whatever it is. So, well. Right, let's have a talk about what we got going on here. So, there is one thing I do want to test at some point. Probably won't do it on stream, but I do want to check if tech skill modifier is going to be better than going for tech skill power boost ratio. I'm probably going to have to do some maths on that one, I think, because the modifier is going to go into every single one of those damage over times, but I'm going to have to calculate what it's looking like with focus on tech, and see what kind of percentages we're currently dealing with. Yeah, probably have to figure that one out. I run on TFT a lot, but I do like the game. I just wish they would refocus on actual challenging and endgame content, and improve actual gunplay. I completely agree. There was a time where it genuinely was all focused around that. There was a time where you couldn't even reliably build a skill build, because it was all about what weaponry you had to be able to take down the Colossi, especially in hard. Hanged Man used to be a problem. Hanged Man used to be one of the more fun kind of like mechanics that existed. The fact that you had to get someone to take the box, and you had to choose when he was immune and when he wasn't, and all that kind of thing, was great. Yeah, I loved the idea of Hangman. As soon as Hangman with the Abyss fight came out, with the cosmetics. I grabbed a few. I didn't have enough time to get everything, but I did grab a few of those and all that kind of thing. They had some really cool ideas. You know, speaking of, you know, not Abyss, just habit now. Executioner was fine, but he became the main punching bag to be able to get your amorphous materials. Dead Bride was really annoying with the Frost Dome if you couldn't actually burst it down fast enough. Devourer with the healing orbs, and the fact that you'd have to essentially fight him like 3 times over was crazy. Pyromaniac with all like the flame rings and everything like that, if you weren't careful, would absolutely melt you down. Swampy, you could probably get away with saying he was probably one of the easier ones, he just had a bigger HP pool. Obstructor needed a bunny to be able to deal with all the orbs that came out of the portals. So if you didn't have one of those, then good luck with trying to be able to complete that one. Frostwalker with running away with the targets on his legs was insane. Why they thought that was a great idea, I have no idea. But it was insane. To then put a white mechanic on top of that was so funny. Molten Fortress, the original Molten Fortress puzzle, and you had to shoot the fireballs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily a hard fight in a way, it was just, you were there for a long time if you just didn't get that right. And if you had like a bad team member, you weren't completing that one. Gluttony is Gluttony. Gluttony was known for like team wipes and all that kind of thing. Gluttony was, there was a time even I was, granted I wasn't fully built and all that kind of thing, but there was a time Gluttony scared the hell out of me in terms of like going into that fight and everything like that, because it was like, as a solo player without like a coordinated team, whatever, you know. And then Deathstalker you could get away with as a solo. You just, all you did was build into a shield build and you're absolutely fine and good to go. But he still hit pretty hard. It was still going to be like a 4, 5, 6 minute kind of fight to be able to actually get all the way through. And then we got all the power creep and everything like that, and now it's ridiculously easy and you can one-shot him if you need to, and with ATAMs and everything like that if you've got everything built right. So that's just where we're up to, apparently. But it's a shame to see all these become a joke, especially Devourer. I do miss old Devourer, to be fair. But it's what it is, you know. It's we'll have to see what they actually come up with. Yeah, trying to get Viking on stream too. Well, I appreciate that. You don't necessarily have to. I mean, obviously everyone's got their own things going on, but you know, more the merrier, I suppose. Yeah, I do miss the old days of needing teams for things like Gluttony. Yeah, Gluttony. If you didn't like the fact that they brought out Valby and then they gave her a specific red mod to be able to do the mechanic for that easier, crazy. It was such a hard fight when it first came out, and then they just kind of like nerfed him into oblivion, which is hilarious. But hey ho, just because people couldn't do it, and yeah, I get that, but you know, he was the hardest fight that we had, and we didn't need easier content then. You know, it was almost like it was even more rewarding for being able to get all the way through that. But I feel like they listened to the wrong people a couple of times. I'm not going to say all the time, but I am going to say on a couple of occasions it's probably been a case of it's been there for the wrong reasons. But it is what it is. You know, it's there's no point crying about it now. You know, it's happened. So. Go back to your other video, focus less on the Laguna Craft and more content, and especially group content. I do agree. I mean, I'm all for... At the end of the day, Nexon have got to make money, and nothing quite sells like the skins that currently exist in this game. You know, me personally, I like the cool looking stuff. Like, I genuinely love this Vulgus outfit, and of course I've painted it and everything like that, but, you know, I've made it a little bit more custom. But, like I said, there's a way of doing it tasteful. Like for example with Haley, I love this outfit. I think that's really cool. You know, it's just the perfect blend of what they're trying to go for and everything like that. Same with my new favorite skin that they've released, which is Sharon. Honestly, fantastic work. I don't have any notes. That is just such a good skin. And maybe the only note I have is the fact that I can't put this on everyone. This is just purely for Sharon. But I genuinely love what they've done here. It is such a good skin. Possibly in top 5 of all the skins they've ever done. And you just need more like that. Yeah, just like why is this an issue? Like, I imagine this has sold pretty well. I imagine most of the community's actually really enjoyed this. But because I haven't seen one single negative thing about this, and most people have actually said this is the top skin that's come out of the actual brand new stuff that they put in the shop. But that's just me. Maybe I'm maybe I'm alone in those thoughts, but that's my understanding anyway. I've just realised I've still got my dailies with my gold to do and all that kind of thing. Been saying for months that this game needs 3 difficulties, like an actual extreme mode. Also needs to run raids and not just dungeons. One thing Destiny has in its game. I've always wanted them to bring out a raid mode. I thought we were going to get it as soon as they brought in inversions when they were testing things out. With not inversions, invasions. Because they gave you the mechanics with the stuff that was on the floor. They gave you the floating columns. They gave you like the laser shooty thing, all that kind of thing. They added so many new mechanics into it, and it really did feel like they were kind of teasing that they were going to go down that route, and then nothing came of it. And in actual fact, they nerfed it 3 times. It's one of them. Because people genuinely found it such a chore that they just went, no, we don't want it. So that's the reason why I don't think raids are ever going to come. Wall Crush is probably the closest we're going to get to that. The fact that it takes 8 people to go into there, and and there's no mechanics to that really. It's just dodge attacks, but at the end of the day, the player base just don't like mechanics for some reason, and it's really strange to think that no one wants anything like that, because it would be such a boon to the player base to bring that kind of stuff out. Something interesting, something endgame, something reason for you to be able to get your ancestor mods. And there's just no reason to at the moment, unless you just either have the money for it, or I don't know, you just like the idea of it, I guess. It's an odd one. But like I said, it's kind of at the mercy of the rest of the community, because if the rest of the community is not screaming out for it, they're not going to do it. So I do think that's a bit of a shame. I think they could absolutely do with something like that, but hey, yeah, the day and age we're in. So what can you do? Yeah, I prefer to have both options. Sometimes I like the better, sometimes I like a QF and I like outfit too. Yeah, it's the thing that it just goes to show that they can do both. They can get away with the things. Oh god, oh that's a lot of slowdown. Oh god, oh god, something caused a memory leak. Yeah, if anything, they've just kind of like proven to us that they could get away with doing something like that, like the outfits like this. And I imagine it still sells as well. That's the crazy part. But yeah, I mean, it's the easy route, isn't it? It's just to go down the sexy look and just get that kind of money in and all that. So really, you've left me one piece short. You've left me one piece short. I want a nerf to this content, please. The things we do for gold. The mech dog they messed up on though. I wanted it to be a Robodog as well. That's not out yet though, is it? Or have I missed that? Is it actually in the shop? I know it was coming soon. Have I genuinely not seen it? Or is it just based on the yeah, Met Dog's out. To be fair, I'm looking forward to the Met Dog, but I suppose it depends on what they've done with the concept art. Because the original drawing for it looked pretty cool. Nope. And hop a bit. And pause that. I must admit, this is probably the one mission that do not care for, because I feel like it just takes a little bit of a long time. So if we can have it nerfed, that'd be great. No, I'm joking. I don't want it there. Actually, it should just teleport me to the end at this point. Just gonna do the memory leak again. Nope, we're good. Okay. 20k kills with Toxic. Oof. That'll be enough. It's not enough. There we go. Glad to see the back end of that mission. Give us so much potential, literally. Going hard, longer content would be great. That's what she said. Feel free, way more rewarding and satisfying. Yeah, I just want to simplify gameplay. It's weird. Also, the other Darth on YouTube to be quiet on the bits and stuff. Are you using two accounts, or have you actually got some Viking on the other outlet? The current player base needs to understand this game will never grow in its current state of play. Absolutely not, it won't. It needs to get proper balance for audience, of course, harder content. Now, I do agree that they are getting a little bit closer to having the balance getting there. But obviously the content's not quite there. So it does feel like everyone's getting closer to Serena level. Not quite at Serena level, but they are getting closer to it. But it still kind of begs the question of, well, Serena can already clear everything, so what's there for Serena to kind of go against? And it's just, I don't know what they're thinking. It's I can only hope that once they actually get everyone to Serena level and we get back around to Serena needing a buff, that's when we'll start seeing the content changes. But that's a bit too late at that point, I think. You know, the power fantasy will be so overcrept that if you start changing the content at that point, then you're just going to be angering the rest of the player base rather than actually bringing anyone new into it, I think. But it's such a shame, really, because they actually got quite a lot of favour with this update for episode 3. What is it? It's season 3, episode 3. Yeah, episode 3. So they had a lot of favour for it, but then they completely butchered it by going after Gley with the Blood and Iron straight away, and it didn't really matter what they did with Dire, which, while they were really good changes and everything like that, it still kind of was overshadowed by the fact that they just absolutely hammered Gley. And even though she's still healthy to play and everything like that, you know, she's still absolutely fine. It's not like she's completely unplayable with Blood and Iron or anything like that. It's still one of her strongest builds. It's just so weird and so funny that they knew like what they were dealing with and everything like that, and they still chose to just kind of nerf it. And you know, to nerf it the way they did, it's I think what made it worse was the fact that they came out and said 10%. If they hadn't said 10%, if they'd said a much larger number or something like that, the player base wouldn't be so upset about it. I think if they come out and said, "Wow, you know, she's like overperforming like 40% or something like that," and you're like, "Whoa, okay, that's quite that justifies the range and the skill power and all that kind of thing." You're like, "Wow, okay, fair enough then," you know. But the fact that they came out with such a low number, and then they went, "So then we're just gonna absolutely smash the rest of it," and you're just like, "Oh, okay," because that makes sense. But so we're now back to square one in a sense, which is so weird, but. Ah, well. It's a good thing they have the dedicated hardcore fan base, eh? My GPU is messed up and I'm fighting Asus on it with the RMA. Oh. That's crazy. That's crazy that you're still going on with the Asus thing there. Because that's been going on for months now. And we're not really in a... Oh, it's going to be the bloody RAM, isn't it? They're going to be kicking back because of the blooming price of RAM, aren't they? It's going to be going into the graphics cards. They can't just easily just replace it, can they? Because obviously it's gone up in price. Yeah, it's just scummy. I mean, just make a product that works in the first place, I guess. Sorry, challenge is a bit too difficult. Can't do that. So what kind of content? Because obviously they've already mentioned that there's going to be some kind of like content coming, and breach tracking was getting closer to that kind of level. Obviously we're, you know, it's still on the easier side and everything like that. But what kind of content would you actually want? Because, for example, for the people that remember this, you know, Purge level 30 was so off-putting because there's so many people and all that kind of thing. But it was what was needed to be able to get like some of the best resource that existed in the game. Well, my multi-chat is dead. Okay. All right, we'll do this the old-fashioned way then. Yeah, well, nice knowing you. Oh, I just missed. I'm not even paying attention to what symbols. There we go. Well, clearly I need to sort out a multi-chat for next time. But that's fine. Something was bound to go wrong after 4 months, I suppose. I can deal with the multi-chat. So what else we got? Hardware problems. Greg Glay was OP. Oh, I went too far. Whoopsie. Okay, it's all the way over there. That should be it. Yeah, cool. Not much in a minute. Raids were the games that you play. I want raids of way more story and hard content. No, absolutely. I like I said, it's. I don't think raids is ever going to be a possibility, unfortunately, and which is sad to think, because you know, it would be a really cool thing for them to be able to add in if they got the balance right. But I mean, you see Wall Crasher now, and Wall Crasher's come a bit of a joke, and that was that took minutes before and. Still completable with Serena and everything like that, but obviously she's not the go-to anymore. But like Purge 30, for example, was the difficulty that kind of broke a lot of people in the early days before they nerfed it down to like Purge 10, and then made Purge 10 even easier and all that kind of thing. So, are we talking when it comes to like mobbing side of things? Are we talking, like harder than that, or are we talking in line with that? Or if you don't remember Purge 30, then I can update you with how that was. Yeah, actually, would be nice. Warcrush is just another loot pinata. Yeah, I mean, he is, to be fair. He's a person you go to if you want some trigger mods and to try and get another ancestor. That's basically it. Oh, and to also get keys for breach tracking. Almost forgot about that one. Which reminds me that's coming up very, very shortly, so I probably should swap over to that in a sec. I don't even know what build to even take in. That's the crazy part. Red action does make most sense. I haven't got my cores fully done up. That doesn't matter. Yeah, that doesn't matter either. I can't remember, right, do I have you fully geared up if I remember? I think you're basically there. I'm just missing a couple of 20 rolls. It's not weak point damage. I suppose that's what that's there for. I remember where I got up to with this. Got sharp focus. Got the HP. Got the time distribution. I don't think there's anything else that gives you. Let's focus on non-attribute. Yeah, it makes it a bit more easier. 30k. Yeah, that's probably about right. Been a while since I took a look at this when she first got buffed, and then I just haven't looked at it since. Find Glade more fun than Serena. Yeah, I mean, I think the flying probably is. Yeah, the flying around and all that kind of thing is probably what kind of does it. I mean, I thought it was a really cool mechanic and everything when she first came out, but the amount of buffs that she gets from that is just stupid. Like, why? Sharon's the most boring descendant. Ooh. See, now I do have a soft spot for Sharon. The only thing that really puts me off from playing her a little bit more is the range that she has, and that's across every single build that she has. Because the sword is too short of a range. It's really strong, but it's too short of a range. Area suppression is pretty good, but the damage is a little bit on the low side. And once again, range is probably a problem. I think if they added in homing on the 20 needles, you'd be absolutely fine. You could probably get away with What should we do there? Just a casual 2-bill. I think I can get faster if I get the fire rate up and sorted like that. But I'm happy with that. It's been a while since I've hit a 2-bill. The question is, am I actually going to get anything decent out of it? Doing 2-bill? Probably not. What we got? That's a solid kill chain. Not bad. No. Crap. Nope, crap. Bad wave eruption, bad domino drive. So the kill chain's kind of cool. 30 keys. Yeah, that's about it then. Okay. I'll have to farm for some cores then. Enzo and Jabo for me are the most boring male descendants to me. I kind of like Enzo as a crit descendant, which is why I made that build. Just covering his focus fire. But outside of that, I probably would agree with you. He's a bit too difficult to kind of get going. Do that. I've got Anvil here because I was actually planning on doing like a weird multi-hit kind of build going on with him. So this is currently in testing, so I will kind of like briefly just kind of show it off. This isn't... it's not there just yet, so duration up is pretty important for this build. But the idea was, if you go for Supply Firearm Enhancer, if you use the special effect on this one, what this does is it gives you an increased shell capacity of 20, or 20%, sorry, on top of the Hammer and Anvil. And then the Hammer and Anvil would then do multi-hit damage, which is okay. It's not bad, but the unique effect when you swap it to the explosive shells is that it fires guided rounds from the detonated location, and those are numbers proportional to your shell capacity. So the more shell capacity that you have built into this weapon, the better that this will do. And I've got 15 as standard. I've then got Unstoppable Smasher on there to be able to increase it by another 30%. And then if you use Supply Fire Enhancer, that increases by another 20%. So essentially you get an extra 50% of your detonator shells that come out of it. And then because obviously Enzo got his rework, he was going to be getting, especially if you trigger Firing Specialist, and because we're going into duration with that, get it for 73 seconds, which is kind of nutty, but it will increase your attack of every single one of those rounds going into that. Now, the only downside that I've found with this is that, one, it's pretty cool to go into most content. Some of the harder content, it actually just kind of suffers because it's just mainly dealing multi-hit damage, and because you're doing multi-hit damage and you're only doing like half of what it should be doing, it's not great. It's fun to mess about with. I feel like I was almost onto something, but it's just not quite there. So yeah, this is essentially what I was kind of currently messing about with. Also, you don't really have the cores to be able to go into like fire rate, and the fact that the special effects, when you swap this, you lose 50% of your fire rate, it's kind of punishing. So you can't really... And there's no sharp precision shot to be able to increase it further, so... in fact, there's no yellow mods at all to be able to increase it, so the only thing you can do is just put fire rate up, and then that's it. So I'm messing about with this one. I'm not 100% convinced just yet. But it's something I want to kind of like try out. So love to play Sharon, but she's pretty obsolete compared to other descendants. She absolutely is, and to be completely honest with you, I'm glad that she's getting a bit of a rework. Because it's kind of cool to play the assassin role, but you can't assassin properly with the current content. You don't do enough damage. And she does have some really good stuff in her kit, especially with the cloak, being able to add an extra, what is it, another 100%, 150% of the damage instance or something along those lines. So she does have some really good stuff just come there. It's just the damage isn't there, which is a bit of a shame. But, hey-ho, I guess we'll see what she currently gets and see what we get. But I could go for some homing needles and area suppression. That would make it easier to use for mobbing and all that kind of thing. The main issue with that is like verticality. And you know, if you're on a slope, you got no chance of hitting things. Even if you're on top of the slope, you don't hit things because they can just be underneath it. So whatever. So yeah. Bids is here. How are you amazing people? It's good to see you, Bids. Thank you so much for stopping by. You didn't need to do that. You were going out for a meal. What are you doing? And then Johnny says, I hope Dimension plays more of a role. In terms of like the type of skills, because Red Dimension. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Hold on. Because that's a pretty cool ancestor mod. It would be nice if there was a negative on there just to be able to boost it even higher. Where's that really cool one that I kind of got, and then it just kind of there it is. This would have been absolutely fantastic. The amount of the fact that I could go up to like 110% skill power from just slotting this in, but Dimension skill is purely the cloak, and the cloak doesn't do any damage. So therefore, I'm just putting skill power into it for no bloody reason. So it just kind of sucks, and it's a shame. So, dang, that's a great mod for Sharon. Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I saw this one, I had to absolutely snap this up. The main kind of like advantage when it comes to shopping for ancestor mods for like lesser played descendants is the fact that they tend to go a little bit cheaper because they don't tend to sell that well in the market. So you can actually pick up some really nice looking mods for relatively cheap. Like you've got your bunnies, and your bunnies will go up from like 5 to 10k. You know, like in terms of like cost and caliber and all that kind of thing. Like all the main ones, Serena's tend to be a little bit costly, but not too badly because she doesn't need an ancestor mod to be able to get going. Glay and Dire are absolutely like some of the highest ones when it comes to caliber prices. Same with I think Ajax's. But you'll notice there's a bit of a trend in terms of like how popular a Descendant is, in terms of like power level and everything like that, and then the price of their ancestor mods. So because Sharon's not being used as much nowadays, you can get lucky and find some cheap ones because people just want to make some quick caliber to be able to buy some of the stuff that they want. But there are some deals to be had out there, absolutely. I mean, I've also got this one for just boost ratios. To be completely honest with you, some of these are probably going to go spare. I just need to actually find some time to be able to like sit down and like work my way through it and just start kind of like offering some of these out. But there's some of these that I don't need anymore. So yeah, if you'd be interested in that kind of thing, I could probably find some time to be able to put something up in the Discord, and you know, just make it free reign. I mean, you know, I've got some nice looking ones. You know, it depends on what you're actually trying to get. You know, skill cost and max HP. It's just kind of like standard stuff, and you know, I've got this one with critical hit rate if you want to go for it. Negative interdimension skill modifier that does absolutely nothing, so you can just get the bonus for free. So you can just get rid of skill insight, for example. There's some cool ones that I've got. It's like I said, we can figure this out. So if you're interested in some like ancestor mods, and I'm never going to charge like stupid money. I might go as high as like 1k depending on what the mod is, but everything will probably be less than that. So the one that's my kind of like golden goose at the moment, my main one that I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with is this one. Because Dimension skill power booster is pretty nice. Skill duration up is also pretty nice. But this, you know, it depends on what kind of like build you want to kind of like go for. So, but yeah, triple red, and into a negative as well. Is it harmless? I suppose if you're going this way, you wouldn't have your crit rate, so that's probably fine to use. That one's pretty damn rare, so I'd probably keep hold of it, even if I'm not going to use it. But yeah, it is what it is. Being out back at home base chilling so I could get away with stopping by. Well, fair enough. I appreciate the dedication there, but it's absolutely appreciated. Thank you so much, and yeah, hope you find something nice at home base. Is that what I'm supposed to say here? I think I feel like that's probably the best way for me to go. Let me guess, you rolled this on the event because of the max neg? No, those ones for Sharon, wasn't it? Or are you talking the... Which one was it? Whichever it was. Most of the ones that I've rolled this event have been absolutely poor. I think I may have like one or two that kind of like kicked around that were not too bad, but most of them have been absolutely diabolical. And I've just kind of... I think I've already trashed some of them because I was like, oh, I'll just have the resource at this point. So... yeah, I can't really say I've had such good luck, and I think that's been the case for most people, but if I only discovered this by accident, but I don't know if it's the same for everyone else. Have you actually seen the rates as to what things drop in? So if you ever want like an idea as to how rare your perfect roll actually is, because Nexon have to disclose the odds when it comes to rerolls, you can see the options in like adjusting weapons, weapon cores, all that kind of thing. There is a setting in your ancestor stuff. Few chances, and it will pop up with this menu. I'm hoping this actually comes up because this is TFD, so I'm hoping it works. Just double check, wait for the... yeah, it does. Cool. So you can actually see all of the odds in everything that's going to be happening. So, for example, here, just a 2 advantage option without a penalty is a 10% chance. With a 3 advantage option, it's 40%. 2 advantage with 1 penalty is the exact same at 10%. And 3 advantage with 1 penalty is also 40%. So, you're more likely to be able to get your 3 advantages, but your equal chances of being able to get it without as well as with a penalty. So your 2 advantage with 1 penalty that most people are after is a 1 in 10 shot, and then to be able to get what you want from that depends on the descendant that you're going to be using. There is a lot of yap in here, just to give you an idea. But if you wanted it for Blair, for example, advantage 2, advantage 3, advantage 2, penalty 1. If you wanted duration up in red, you have a 0.1% chance of being able to roll that. This is on top of the 10% as well. So you have a 0.1% chance of being able to get that. And then if you wanted it with... what else do you have? Crit damage, let's say. You got another 0.1% chance of being able to roll that as well. And it works the same with penalties as well, but penalties are obviously a little bit more weighted because there's less to them. But the maths on this is insane. So if I ever wanted to find the perfect roll for my Blair of max duration, max crit damage, and a negative that doesn't really impact the build, which with Blair most of the time you can actually get away with, I'm looking at like abysmal odds to be able to get that, and that's when it starts getting into a case of, well, what can you actually justify with the price and all that kind of thing in terms of like caliber, how do you price it and everything like that. So but yeah, I kind of stumbled on that by accident. Some of you may already be aware of that and already kind of like know it, but I just thought I'd kind of like point that out to some of you that didn't have an idea. If you're just interested in those kind of like stats, and just having a quick look over them, that does exist. Most of this is crap and I haven't done anything with it recently. Let's get rid of those 20. There we go. why are your red mods not maxed? So I did have a comment on a recent video talking about that the other day. I think it was someone saying that my OCD is slightly triggered by it and all that kind of thing. And the main reason for it is because I don't need to. So if I can already slot this module into my build, and I already have the capacity, and I can fit everything else that I want to in here, why am I still spending an extra 2 to 3 mil just to be able to get that extra little tick? Because it doesn't power up the build, it doesn't do anything more to it. All it does is just reduce the cost of this mod. But if I already have the space for it, why am I paying the extra 3 mil? In case you haven't noticed, I don't do too much with my gold. I genuinely just kind of I barely do my dailies. I barely go and do like some like the defense waves and all that kind of thing. So my gold is normally in the 8 to 7 kind of figure kind of range. So why am I dropping 3 mil just to be able to put a mod up just by 1 extra tick? And that's purely the reason why. It's not. I mean, I'd love to say that it is literally there just to be able to kind of like comment farm on some videos, and I'm just doing it just to trigger everyone else and just to get. Just to really wind people up so they have to comment and everything like that. But no, that's not the case. I just purely... I do want to see if I can get a good overcharge shield. I am just purely doing that just to save some gold. That is all that actually is. Come on, give me a good... Oh, of course you give me a double blue. Oh, you can't see my gold. No, of course, the chat's blocking it. Sorry. I'm currently sitting on 20 mil. 20 mil gold. I think I've only ever been over 100 mil once. And then I spent it on a whole bunch of resources and cores and everything like that. And just traded it all down and everything like that. So I normally float below 50 mil. Which, you know, is what it is. I'd love to say that I was going to spend time and you know, farming all out and everything like that, and you know, be into like the 1 bill range and everything, but I barely have the time to be able to play this and make builds, so I ain't gonna have time to do all that stuff as well. Razor have mods you may be interested in. I mean, I'm more than happy to discuss that over on Discord. Feel free. That's do you know what? I can't remember. Is the bot broken? Yep, bot's broke. So that's fine, because I can do it a different way. I'll have to do it manually. I'll sort out the bot at some point. Yeah, I think to be fair, it would help if I actually did fix the. Would help if I fixed everything. I'm hoping that works. There we go. We'll put it in all the chats. There we go. So yeah, if anyone ever wants to kind of like pop over there, feel free to. Yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to listen to what people have got. You know, even help out in terms of like pricings and all that kind of thing. So absolutely, feel free to head on over to the Discord and. I'm more than happy to catch you over there. Right, I did say we were going to work a little bit on Freyna. And see if we can get a little bit of testing done, and then I can start making like a script tomorrow and try and get a video out about it. Now, my issue is I wish Freyna had 1 more module slot there. Because the one mod that I do want to slot in here would be MP Collector. For Venom Injection especially. But the damage on that's too good to pass up on. The damage on this is too good to pass up on. Extra skill power is always nice. I need the cooldown from this as well as the modifier to go into everything. I need cooldown. I need this for survivability, especially with that as well. And I need the range. So there isn't really anything that could kind of move, which is a bit of a shame. really save me anything. I miss out on some skill power, so that's not good. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. No, can't go that way. Yeah, there's just no way I can. Yeah, got a decent Freyna mod for you. I mean, I'm all ears. I've definitely got a couple of. The main one that I'm probably missing out on, I would say, on Freyna, is a crit one. Because I need to do the maths on that just to be able to figure out how much crit rate I would need. But I've got my cooldown with Toxic Power and Modifier with a Harmless Negative, so I'm happy with that one. I've got my double power boost ratios. I mean, I wish Tech Skill was a little bit higher, but I can make do with that. The only one I don't have is a crit one, if I remember right. Because I've got rate, I haven't got damage. So I need. Yeah, I need to fix something out. You got several crit ones. Oh, in that case, yeah, I'm all ears. Yeah, I'd absolutely have a check out of those. Because I do need to be able to make a crit one at some point. I think these are going to be the 3 builds. So, I don't really use that anymore as such. Because that's changed a lot. This is still useful, but that's changed. But Contagion, absolutely need a Contagion build. Then you need a Venom Injection build for Ultimate Freyna so you can tackle Axion and beyond. And then you need Crit to be able to go into Wall Crusher because she's one of the better ones to be able to take into there. So, yeah, I could do with a Crit mod. Yeah, I'm more than happy to entertain some offers on that one. Absolutely. Yeah, feel free to fire my way. Surely the dog and selective neuro is going to be enough. No, not Sigma. Axion, that's the one I'm after. I'm going to remind myself. I joined the Discord herd and make a bullied there. Just stay away from a mem and you should be alright. Get on then. Let's give this a go. This is fairly fine. The skill cost is absolutely hurting me on my Ancestor mod, which is a bit of a shame. There was a time that this used to be a struggle. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Oh, he's that's better. Could have handled that one better, but I think he kind of appeared a little bit sooner than I expected. But the damage is there. We'll try this out in a few things. I've heard you're a true champion of the North there. That guy is a legend just like you. I mean, I've heard he's pretty good. You know, he's a little bit biased at times, but oh, honestly, he's definitely up there. We'll just put you in there. We'll start catting you. Go on, let's see if we can take you into some of the harder difficulties. I'm pretty sure this will be fine. We'll do this one first. Do one of each. Got a few of these weeklies to catch up on. So what's everyone's week currently looking like then? So it's is everyone going to be playing TFD? They're going to be playing something else? What's on the agenda for everyone? I just want to take a sec to thank you for stopping by for my second anniversary stream. It does mean a lot. You took some time out of your day to be able to celebrate with me, so... That's not bad. What kind of damage numbers am I seeing? It's not quite in his level, is it? But it's up there. Yeah. It's definitely helping me leveling up as well, isn't it? pretty decent. Pretty decent. Ah. Could have done with. All I'm hearing is just, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's definitely better if you have your ultimate, I think, but... yeah. It's decent enough damage for a full nope. Yeah, I mean, I'll take that. What we got here? You need someone with stuff for weakness or something? I mean, I'm down to run. I mean, can't say I necessarily need help with it with Freyna at the moment, but I mean, if you're online and you want to be able to run some stuff, then and you need to be able to do the same weekly, so yeah, absolutely, why not? Let's do it. TFT rivals maybe some Witcher 2 and some other games. Witcher 2, wow, that's is that because you haven't completed it yet, or is what's? I was expecting Witcher 3 surely, but curious on the number 2 one. Little Where the Winds Meet. Once again, I've not played it, but it seems like a solid enough game. That's fair enough. Congrats, cheers. Well, cheers to yourself, Z. I appreciate you stopping by and celebrating with myself. It does mean a lot. Big milestone. It's 2 years. 2 years, I guess, to the day of me wondering if going solo was the right choice. And to be honest, here we are. I'm more than happy with currently where I am. Cannot complain. Want to go to the Witcher series? I want to do Witcher 2 first because it affects Witcher 3. Ah, fair enough then. I'm with you. If you're working your way forward, then that does make the most sense. Do you know where I haven't tried Freyna? Haven't tried her in here. See what she does. Happy second anniversary of the channel membership helps. Sorry, I never knew you as a group content guy. Witcher 2's controls suck. There's a lot to digest in that message. Happy second. Thank you so much there, Darth. It does mean a lot. It really does. And especially since you're over in Discord and helping out over there as well and chatting with people. Do appreciate that as well. Hope the channel membership helps. Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure to get you added to the end of every single one of the videos. And like I said, it's just it's like a small token of just, you know, if people want to support, then that's available, that's around. But it's just stuff that's going to get chucked straight back into the channel. So yeah, absolutely, thank you. I will sort that. Jesus, what is going on? Does suffer a little bit with that MP recovery, doesn't it? Kind of need it though. Sorry, I never knew as a group content guy. I mean, to be fair, you know, we didn't get to like really take off, but you know, we were heavily covering Outriders, so You know, if you didn't necessarily play that game or follow to that point, then you wouldn't have known. But you're here for the solo journey, and that's the important thing right now. It's definitely chewing through. Takes a few ticks, but it gets there. There we go. Have I played Witcher 2? I feel like I may have played a little bit of it, like a while back. I don't think I played a lot of it, if that's the case. Probably the same with Witcher 1, actually. I probably started it and then just never got too far with it. It's kind of a similar story with Witcher 3, hilariously, as well. But that one was a little bit different because I got so far in it. I probably played it for like about maybe 5 or so hours. And then just went, I just don't think it's for me. Oh, that's good damage. That is good damage. Which is a shame because I've heard it's really good stuff about Witcher 3. And I just, for whatever reason, just couldn't get to grips with it. I think it probably wasn't helped by the fact that I randomly was like walking around trying to find things to do, places to go, and all that kind of thing, and then I accidentally stumbled across a spider nest, and I was spent the most of the time trying to fight the spider until I eventually gave up because I was constantly being one-shot. Oh, that is good damage. Wow. So I eventually gave up. And it turns out that I was supposed to be like level 25 or something like that, and I was only level 5, and I was trying to take on this the spider area that was way too much, and I just didn't even realise. So 100% it's a me thing for that, but so if I had cooldown, because as soon as you get your ultimate, you absolutely shred the boss. So you do need a little bit more cooldown on this. What are we up to cooldown wise? Yeah. Would be nice to hit that. Just don't know how I'm going to do it, that's the problem. There's a bit too much range if I take that off. I'm going to need 5, 9, 14, 15. Could potentially take the skill power from here, maybe. Just to hit. It's not great. But the cooldown would shave off what? 5 and a bit seconds off the 26.8. Yeah. I think you kind of do want to 3-roll into cooldown and the two boost ratios, because your skill 4 kind of heavily impacts your runs. Thoughts on Skyrim and Red Dead 2? Red Dead 2 is on my list to play. I have not played it. It's something that I've thought about grabbing when it's like £15 or lower or something like that, because I do need like a good story. And me and the wife like really enjoy playing some story games. So yeah, we'd absolutely play something like that, especially with how good that's been received in terms of like a story. I've seen bits of it. I think I've seen like near the ending and all that kind of thing, so you know, technically spoiler. But I just don't own it. I just haven't played it or anything like that. So it is on the list to play at some point. I will eventually grab it, but probably when I've got a little bit more spare time, when the little one's a little bit older and all that kind of thing, and get a bit more frequent with his sleeps and everything. Skyrim though, Skyrim's a fantastic game. I haven't felt the need to go back to it, but I have played a fair bit of it when it first came out. But yeah, no, Skyrim's a great game. I'm more of a Fallout guy, to be completely honest with you, but Skyrim is definitely up there. But that's just a personal thing, to be fair. Let's have a quick check of the market. Let's see if we can find a tech skill boost and a toxic boost. And a cooldown. Now we would like at least rares in the boost ratios. And there are two, and both people are offline and they're charging £2.5 for it, so maybe. Oh, you've potentially got one of those as well. I think the cooldown's probably going to be the way, because the skill force is just too impactful not to have that, I think. Just trying to think what else. Probably get out the build. Well, definitely that. I mean, you'd probably swap that to that, to be fair, but there's a chance that you just go from Neuro to Enhanced Regen. You just recover even more max MP. That's probably the best shout. So you get the MP orb as well as another 10.5% of your max MP. I think that might be enough to be able to cover Potent Collector instead. Oh wow, Discord chat's been popping off. I've not even looked at the Discord, and it's just been popping off in the background. That's fine. Darth, we can figure that out for when I start doing the script. I do think that's going to be the best rolls, though. I do think going into double boost ratios as well as a cooldown is probably going to be the way. I probably could try a run with the tech skill modifier and just see how we get on. That will give me almost all the cooldown to hit cap. That brings it down to a 14 seconds. Sure, we'll try and run with that. We'll see if we can. I think that means we're going to do less damage on the infected weapon mod. That's how it should work. But it means that our damage over time will do a little bit more, and then we have our fourth back a little bit more freely. Yeah, trying to manage should focus for Discord. Yeah, working from home today and haven't been the best focused. Hey, if you need to pop off, you absolutely need to pop off. You know, appreciate you stopping by and all that kind of thing. But if you need to focus on other things, absolutely feel free to, you know, go other places. What damage are we doing here? I mean, that's still a lot of damage. And then that should give this back a little bit quicker. Just burst that down. Do that. Fallen Hope's still a decent chunk of damage, to be fair. Oh. Where's all the codes? Oh, yeah. Not a fast run because I can't find codes. Still a good chunk. I think I'm actually seeing higher numbers, but I can't tell if which mod's triggering that. But the MP ball seems to be, on the inversion seems to be the call. And because we're here, use the fourth a little bit more freely. Almost got our fourth back. Now we do. Yeah, this will mean better runs in the long run. Yep. I don't know. What were we thinking? Does this look a little bit more smoother compared to the last one? Maybe the tech modifier is just such a high roll that it actually doesn't really matter too much. Turn that off because it's just wasting MP. Grab some MP. Yeah, it's pretty chunky to be fair. And then back. Yeah, that might be the way. Well, go on, it's definitely not for your build. Tech boost ratio with cooldown and crit rate, but negative shield. Ouch. Ooh, that's a heck of a roll. That's quite a nasty one. God, what build would you use that for? I don't think you could actually use that on something, really, could you? It's just kind of a little bit all over the place. I'll just say Bob's Big Toe. Yeah, Bob's Big Toe. That's fantastic. Right, so Cygnus is now done. So I can finally get rid of a different weapon. But I can finally level this one up. Does that mean I can get the... Yeah, I can. Cool. So I can take that off, put that on. increase defense and give max shield, which I need. Because we are a shield build. Cool. What does that give again then? Oh, that's a point. Yeah, what's the Deus Ex thing I've got to do? I think I'm like one or two parts short. Oh. That's weird. Is it part of this? Fallen. Sharon. No. I could have sworn they bought the. So weird. I could have sworn they bought out the Deus Ex Manus as one of the rewards, but it looks like they've redone the Shadow, which is interesting. Huh. Okay, fair enough. Tell us about your top 5 games in detail. Jesus, we ain't gonna have enough time for this. I was hoping to clock off in about like half hour. What can I get away with saying? To be fair, I've always had a little bit of difficulty trying to figure out what my top game that I've ever played is, but I think I could safely say now that Expedition 33 has to probably take top spot currently. I just think it's too good not to. The fact that I've just constantly had it on my mind ever since I've completed it. Definitely has to put it up there. Like, the story's fantastic. You know, the characters are just so well done. Story is just insanely well written. The soundtrack is just perfect. I do agree it's great with high praise. To be fair, it used to be kind of like a bit of a weird kind of mixed toss-up of Bioshock, God of War with the Norse games, Mass Effect. There was so many that were like in a weird little bundle together that were just almost like on level pegging in a way, or you could make a slight argument for each case and everything. But I just think that the way they approached with Expedition 33 was so well done that I just can't give it to any other game. It's weird. It genuinely has affected me that way. Like, I still feel emotions for you know, like the characters that are in that. You know, between the different endings. I've got like 2 or 3 people that I know that are currently playing it, and I still check in with them just to be able to go, so where are you up to? And then I'm like, oh, I can't give you spoilers, so I'm not going to tell you anything, but I know what's coming up. And I'm just like, I've got to wait another day just to be able to find out what their reaction to that is. And it's always one of those that they go, oh my god, I can't believe that's the... And it fills me with joy that someone else is really enjoying it. Someone at work has just finished Expedition 33 after I'd been going on for like months when it first came out about how good it was. And they went, nah, it can't be that good, and all that kind of thing. And they did pick it up, and then they played like the prologue, and they went, I'm looking forward to this now. I kind of get a sense as to what you're talking about. And I've just been speaking with him the whole way through, and he's just finished it. And I've just, and he was like, oh, I loved it, all this kind of thing. And I said, so, do you think it was Game of the Year worthy? Um, like, is it, you know, like I've been talking about this whole time, do you genuinely think that it was Game of the Year worthy? And he just went hands down. It's so fantastic. It's easily one of my favourite games I've ever played. And that comment alone just kind of like just solidified and justified it for me. You know, I've got little merch coming up because, you know, I bought the Monolith edition. All the other bits are like downstairs or around the house and all that kind of thing, like the scripted box and all that kind of thing. But this is the music box that came with like the special edition. They did a second run of it. I had to grab one of those. I'm thinking of potentially grabbing another display to give you an idea. Actually, I think I could just rotate the camera. Hold on. Let's give this a go. 1 second. See if this works. No, wrong way. You're going the wrong way, camera. Whee! Excuse the mess. But I do have one display over there of Bioshock, and I absolutely love the Bioshock franchise. So, you know, that's absolutely up there for me. So I do intend on getting, I think it's a little robotic little camera thing that I can have. There we go. We'll leave it there. Yeah, so I do plan on getting like a display for Cloud Obscure. I plan on getting potentially multiple, to be completely honest with you, because the artwork is just that stunning, and things like that. So, you know, I do plan on getting all that. I've bought Kiddo an SKA plushie, like one of the official ones, which should get delivered in the next 2 months, I think it is, because they were doing a pre-order. So I'm looking forward to that coming as well. So you can be grown up on a little bit of Cloud Obscure. It's just little daft things like that. Like I appreciate that it's a little bit like excessive in some cases and all that kind of thing, but I love the look of everything that for like merch and all that kind of thing. Like I love the look of this music box. I love the look of the displays and the artwork and everything like that. I love the look of the SKA plushie. Just had to get it, and it's refreshing. It's been a while since I've had a game that you know, made me want to get things like that. If it wasn't for the fact that I only like really would religiously listen to about 2 or 3 songs on the album, I probably would have got the music set as well. Like it's really good music all the way through, but in terms of like what I would actually listen to in the car and all that kind of thing, it probably would only be like about 2 or 3 tracks. So that's the only thing that's kind of like stopped me from getting that kind of stuff. But it's just the complete package for me, I think, and that's the reason why I just kind of have to give it to him. You know, it's so yeah, that's that. But like I said, the rest is like a weird culmination of the Mass Effect franchise. I absolutely loved. It's the only franchise that I've played on the hardest difficulty just because I liked it that much, and then tortured myself. It's including the story that the insane legendary story that I have for Mass Effect 3 on Insanity difficulty, because they made it, and I didn't know this at the time, but they made it so that if you didn't change the difficulty without taking a single step at the very start of the game after you used a previous save from like Mass Effect 2, they made it so that level was now, you can't change the difficulty on that point. So you can still change it on the menu and you'll still face against the enemies, but it won't count as actually completing it under that difficulty. And it triggered me being able to have something like that, because the achievement would tell you that it was something like out of 21 missions or something like that, and it would always be 1 mission short, and it required me to complete the game in Insanity, which I thought would unlock me the trophy. It didn't. So then I then redid it again, trying to find the mission that I was missing, and it didn't unlock it then. And it wasn't until I then Googled and found out that apparently if you take a single step without going into the menu and changing it, it doesn't count the very first mission. I was absolutely livid. So I completed essentially Mass Effect 3 on Insanity mode like twice, just to get 1 trophy. It was the most infuriating game to do as well. Insanity mode is stupid. Like it's like the amount of things that can essentially just like one burst or one shot you is just like daft. Um, but I did the same with um, Mass Effect 2 as well, to be fair, so can't really complain too much. We've got a few of the glaze this time. But yeah, I love the story of Mass Effect. I get 3 didn't really live up to the hype, but it was such a difficult thing for them to try and pull off. To be able to wrap all the games up and everything like that, it was going to be nigh on impossible, let's be honest. But it was still a decent game at the end of it, you know. I still kind of enjoyed it and all that, so I still think 2 was the better one, but it's what it is. Haven't played 2 or 3. Unpopular opinion, but I find Mass Effect overrated. But I played it years later, and people hyped it up, and I only played Mass Effect 1 of the. I mean, that's your only fault then, in that case, because Mass Effect 1 is massively different. It's massively different from 2 and 3. It's crazy how. Like between the two and all that kind of thing, there is so much difference going from that. So I think if you've got the Legendary Edition, I would recommend you giving 2 a go, and then being able to make a decision, because 2 is widely considered the best one in the franchise. But 1's fine. You know, it's okay. It's you know, it's serviceable. It's fine. You know, it could be worse and all that kind of thing, but yeah, in terms of yeah, in terms of like, if you were going to base a decision on the Mass Effect series as a whole, Mass Effect 1 is not the one to do that, unfortunately. It is just so massively different compared to the rest, so but you'll get hooked with 2. 2 starts off really, really well. And it just gets better from there, to be fair. Pardon me. Cool. We'll do a little bit more Freyna, and then we'll probably just call it for the night, just so I can catch up on a little bit of sleep. So I've about 1, it was fine, but I had random ass side pointless planet missions. Yeah, but nothing like this is the great. Completely true. If, like I said, I played 1 after I played 2 and 3, so I went back and visited 1 after all that. And yeah, it's just not the same. Oh, they've made Crater have the thing. Might as well get my free ancestor mod. Yeah, it's almost like a completely new game, going from 1 to 2. If it wasn't for the characters and like the sci-fi setting, you probably would think you're playing something different. Not that 1's like bad or anything like that, but it just isn't. It just isn't 2. 2 was like really well received when it first came out. So the best comparison I could probably give you is if you know what Witcher 3 is like, in terms of like how it looks, how it plays, all that kind of thing. If you're aware of that, going from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2 is like going from The Witcher 2 to Witcher 3. It's just... It's in the same universe, but it is just a massively different, like fish, is basically the best way to put it. this got enough to be able to cut through him? Yeah, it does. That being said, though, I do have my sights on Exodus, which I think is... Is it this year? I can't remember if I think it's this year, isn't it? Which is basically going to be the next Mass Effect. So I've got my sights, got my hopes up on that, to be fair. Really hoping. I saw the secret Amazon secret level version of it, and the story has me hooked. I'm really looking forward to it. I would recommend that you check that out if you could, if you've got Amazon Prime. Not sponsored. Frozone, hi gamers. Hey, Frozone, how's it going? You've caught me near the end of the stream, but I do appreciate you stopping by. Here to celebrate the 2nd anniversary of the channel. It's yeah, how's things going? Thanks so much for popping in. Just like that. Do that. Grab the MP orb. Yeah, it's too good of a mob not to get. Mr. Kinch, what a handsome devil. Oh, you flatterer. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hate you sometimes. And dead. We'll go with that. We'll teleport here just to catch up a little bit on the chat. Hey, just open YouTube and this is the first thing I see. Wow. I hope you mean that in a good way when you say wow. Thanks so much for stopping by there, Ajax. A baby boombox. Not gonna lie, Mass Effect didn't age well. Even 2 and 3 are so to play. Yeah, I mean nowadays obviously, but back in the day, they were pretty fantastic games, and you know, in terms of like pinnacles of RPGs and all that kind of thing, especially for like space ones. And everything, but obviously things have changed now in terms of like gameplay mechanics and everything like that. So they, you know, if they made something nowadays, if BioWare actually got their act together and, you know, went into making a brand new Mass Effect and all that kind of thing that isn't based on Andromeda, probably would be pretty well received. That's why I've got high hopes for that Exodus, because it basically looks like the latest gen or Mass Effect made for current day. But no, I mean, I'm more than happy to check that one out when it comes. So I'll absolutely. I mean, heck, I'd love to be able to do it on the channel, but I guess we'll see what happens in the meantime. Still need to finish GTA 5. I've Red Dead Redemption 2, play Witcher 3 for Horizon Forbidden West. That's one that I do want to do as well. Oblivion Remastered, Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, and so many other single-player games. But games like Marvel Rivals, TFT, Naraka, Blade Points, all the Battle Pass stuff. So, yeah, I mean, everything's just fighting for your time nowadays, isn't it, really? When you think about it. But the Horizon games are pretty cool. Very unique. I love the art style on that as well. Probably would love to get that at some point, but it probably would have to get on the cheap. Elden Ring, I'm not very good when it comes to Souls-like, to be completely honest with you. I'm not even going to fake my chances of being able to complete that, but I can appreciate it from afar. It's one of those. Frozen, I just finished a build about Haley and Geordie's build about Haley, and it seems like you guys had different opinions about the external components. So let's have a talk about Haley, shall we? So it's funny that I started the stream on Haley and then probably going to finish the stream on Haley. Am I right in thinking, because it's been a little while since I watched Geordie's video, and I say a little while as in like it's been a few days. I've slept since then. But did he go for Polar Knight, if I remember right? So Polar Knight's not a bad set, but I do think it has its issues. And the reason why is because Polar Knight is a set that has downtime. The main kind of issue with Polar Knight is going to be that 4-piece set with the Frostbite stacking, being able to increase firearm attack as critical hit damage, as well as the skill critical hit damage. Now, that can obviously stack up to 10 times. That can go all the way up to 60% critical damage, which on paper is fantastic. Problem you got with that, though, is that if you look at 60% going into roughly, let's for argument's sake call around that up to 6.6x, you're looking at 60% is 0.6 going into that. So you're roughly adding 1/11 of your current crit damage to this. The maths could be wrong on this, but that's essentially roughly what you're adding. So you're adding around about maybe 10%, let's say. It's going to be less than that, but around about 10%. And that's going to be at max stacks. So keep that in mind. So while it is going to look great on paper, the damage is still going to be there, but you're going to worry about maintaining that. And because it only has a 5-second duration, it's really difficult to be able to keep that going from mob to mob. When you're facing one single mob, yes, it's really easy to be able to go up to 10 stacks. It's not a problem whatsoever. You can easily burst your way through that. But as soon as you've killed that mob and you've then got to travel a little bit to be able to get to the next one, there's a very good chance that you're not going to get there within 5 seconds to be able to apply Frostbite. And because it only has a 30% chance as well, you're then going to basically be starting from 0 all over again. So you're going to be missing out on all that damage until you've ramped yourself back all the way up to 10 stacks. And it's essentially that kind of gameplay loop all the way through. Now, this does come with one really nice upside, and that is going to be the HP side of things. So, for example, when it comes to Slayer, which is going to be your best damage over damage option when it comes to Haley, you'll notice that I'm currently sitting on 6.1k HP, which is pretty low. But if I swap all the way to Polar Knight, that does put me up to a bit more of a respectful 8.3k. I could go a little bit higher. I just don't have the best kind of stats, best rolls, because I don't really core these up too much. But that's the reason why. Defense will be a little bit higher as well once I put my defense rolls on there as well. But that's the thing. The main kind of selling point for Polar Knight is that yes, you will have a damage increase. It won't be as much as Slayer, but you will have more of a HP pool to be able to play about with. Whereas if you do go for Slayer, which is going to be your best damage option, you will have much less HP, bit more of a respectful defense kind of stat, but you have 0 downtime with this. So what damage you're doing at the start of a fight is what you're going to be finishing that fight with, and then you're going to be going into the next mob, the next boss, next whatever. Yeah. You're going to be having that consistent damage output. That's the main kind of selling point. Both sets are absolutely viable. Feel free to be able to use whichever one you want. I mean, at the end of the day, Polar Knight is still chucking additional chill skill power, but the real also kind of benefit from going for Slayer is because this is generic skill power that is opening up the skill power buckets. And if you do that, because they're multiplicative against each other, you are actually seeing a bit more of a damage increase because of that alone, compared to if it was chill skill power as well. So Slayer has got a lot going for it. If you just purely want damage, then this is going to be the option for you. If you do feel like you're going to be a little bit on the squishy side, if you do want to be able to learn the build a little bit first before you want to learn locations, positioning, runs, all that kind of stuff, then Polar Knight is going to be there available for yourself, so you can just go for that. But yeah, other than that, that's the main kind of reason. Both are still absolutely viable. Geordie's not absolutely wrong. He's not wrong whatsoever to be able to suggest that for you. It's just purely looking at the numbers and going a little bit glass cannon-y. If you can get away with that, then Slayer is going to be the better one for yourself. So that's the reason behind it. So yeah. Thank you for answering my question. Unlike other creators where they just throw it on the side, I'll be following your builds. I just got Cold Heart today. Well, thank you so much. I mean, as I kind of put a post up on YouTube the other day, it shouldn't just be a case of you just follow the one creator and just go forward. I've always been an advocate for following other creators, looking at their builds, seeing what they do differently, understanding the reasons behind that, and then just adapting that for your gameplay. So, for example, if I run a build a certain way and Geordie runs it a different way, that's not to say that either of us are wrong. Far from the truth. It just gives players options to be able to actually take that away and just be able to enjoy something. So, for example, I'm trying to think, what build came up the other day? trying to think now. There was one. That's going to really stick with me now. For argument's sake, Blood and Iron. The main thing that people will throw at you when it comes to Ancestor mods is that cooldown isn't necessary for this build. Whereas I personally enjoy throwing cooldown into this build. And the reason why is because, crit damage makes the most sense. You are going to be critting, so that makes the most sense when it comes to damage. Skill power boost ratios into either non-attribute or into Dimension, was it? Yeah, Dimension is going to be the best way to be able to increase your damage. But if you leave out the skill cooldown and you go for more damage, it is going to be a more viable kind of like in terms of like, you'll see bigger damage numbers and everything like that on this skill. But if you don't have the cooldown on here, that is going to be taking it away so that you can't spam this as often. And I do think that the main kind of like thing to take away from Blood and Iron is the fact that you can spam your skill 4. And it is such an effective mob clearer, it's such an effective like damage dealer to bosses. And the fact that you can spam this at the same time as using your sword damage with your skill 3 if you use Hypernova, because you can chuck Hypernova out. So for example, you go into here, you go into your Frenzy, you activate your third, you chuck out your sword, and then you can activate your Blood and Iron. I don't have obviously resource right now, but you can activate both at the same time to do damage. And I think people kind of forget that that kind of exists, at least in like some kind of creator space. I don't think that's necessary across the whole board or anything like that, but that's the reason why I think cooldown exists here, is because you can have your Hypernova out there to deal damage, and then you can still spam away with this, and you're dealing not double the damage, but you are dealing double the damage instances. So that's why I go for cooldown, because Potent Collector, sword in hand, you will be getting so much power of life. You can effectively just focus on this, and then every now and then chuck out your sword. So, yeah, that's... But other people have different options, and they'll have different opinions, and it's you know, as a viewer, it's great. The fact that you have different options to be able to go, right, how do I want to build this? You know, I've watched this person do it this way for this reason, I've watched someone do it this way for this reason. I want to spam it a little bit more, I'm going to go for cooldown, or I want to just kind of like use it every now and then and rely on my sword, then I will kind of go away from the cooldown. So yeah, you know, if you're looking for a few other creators to be able to help you out in the space, to be able to get an idea as to how they build things, go and check out my YouTube post. I've listed around about like 9 creators that are currently on there. There's going to be more. I've not done that on purpose or anything like that. But you know, just that will give you an idea as to who's currently out there in the space doing some fantastic builds. Go check them out. Go get an idea as to what they're currently doing, and then just consume all the media that exists out there, because the more info that you can take in, the better, really. And it just helps every single person's kind of like playstyle and everything like that. So yeah, I would never tell anyone to just purely stick with this channel. Always go check out some others, just to get other ideas. That's it. But yeah, that's essentially the reason behind all that kind of side of things. So, I definitely just missed a notification. Thank you for the follow, Boombox Ajax. I do appreciate that. We are looking to grow the Twitch side of things a little bit more, especially in this year, because I do want to start pushing for affiliate, potentially push for partner if I can just get consistent enough. But we'll see what the upcoming weeks are going to be doing with that. And yeah, if anyone is curious, you can catch us over on the Discord as well. If you have any questions about any of your builds, anything along those lines, if you just want to ask me a question, just to ask about my own builds, or if you've got a personal preference about Ancestor mods or anything like that, you know, possibilities are endless. That is the best place to go and catch me, and I do try and speak to people every single day. So if you ever want me, feel free to go tag me over there, and yeah, it'd be great to go actually catch up with some people. We will do another like 10 or so minutes of this, 10-15 minutes, see what we get out of this, and then we'll probably just wrap this up for the evening. But I will look to be able to do another stream a little bit later this week as well, so I'll keep everyone informed up on the Discord. But Mem's over here. Thank you so much for stopping by, Mem. How's everything going? We've also got Metaly's in here. Metaly's one of the content creators I was actually talking about, I believe, and on the post as well. So yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. How's everything going your way? He fails, it's mostly his mods that talk all day. It is if it's a day where I'm in the office. I won't sugarcoat it. Yeah, just making sure I've not missed any more notifications. No, everything looks all good, look all up to date. Yeah, this is going great. I do appreciate everyone stopping by for the stream. I've really enjoyed seeing the success on this one. So, I honestly thought no one was actually going to turn up because it had been that long. But no, you've all made the day extra special. So, Leslie, thanks for the mention. Doing well, good to hear. I hope you all as well. Yeah, absolutely great. You know, just a little bit drained, a little bit tired. It is what it is. But I'm hoping to get some catch up on a little bit of sleep in a few minutes. But other than that, I'm feeling top of the world. Everything's great. We be talking on him. And thank you for the follow over on the Twitch side of things, Metally. I do appreciate that as well. We've got to fix your Luna. It's been so long since I've hit Luna. I don't know what's wrong with her. What do you mean? Bids, we got you, man. It's great to see the streams are back. Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to get it back a little bit sooner, but, you know, family takes precedence, and that's the main thing about it all at the end of the day, so... but now he's starting to settle. Why are we using the purple and blue guns? I'm currently leveling up for Master Rank because I'm not 32. That's all. Yeah, we've got to get these extra trades, you know, extra daily trades. Can't get all my ancestor mods if I don't. Range probably going to be the one. Oh, Bids, you didn't need to do that. I appreciate that. Damn, Bids, you've. I'm lost for words. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships there. That's insane. Thank you. Wow. Do you know what? You might actually be the first person that's actually gifted memberships on the channel. So, yeah, that's genuinely amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, people in the chat, if we can get some GGs, some congrats, some thank yous to Bids, anything, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. We'll go for something like that. Oh, Bids, you do spoil me sometimes. I don't know what I've done to deserve this kind of support from you. Yeah, not affiliate just yet, Mem, to be fair. But the stream over on Twitch has actually been going quite well. I might actually check out the stats after this stream, see what we're currently up to. But I am pushing for the affiliate, so I will be pushing a bit more on the Twitch side of things just to get us there. I think last I saw, it was just the viewer average, if I remember right. But that's because I didn't really make a push for it. So, fingers crossed we'll... wait, you can use Infected Weapon on this? There's no continuous damage type to... I was going to say, surely not. Oh, but you can get the movement speed. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Probably still keep Power Beyond. Show you the buffer one. Buffing... Le Buffer. I don't know if I've actually got any better mods now. I might do. Duration up's kind of nice. I think we did just find it. There we go. 9.1. That's more than that. Duration up is more. Now to find a way to get this fitted in. There we go. Puts us on 823 MP. Is her cap 1,000? Am I right? It's on there, isn't it? Yeah, 1,000. So that'll come from like a tuning that goes up to 50. That'll probably go over the 1,000. To be fair, I think. Take off RK concentration. Put on Battleless stamina. But this is giving me MP. Now, when you say DoubleTree, what are we talking about here? What's the, Are we talking Xantic? What would go into Xantic? Oh, is this a buffer for... Oh, no, increases range. Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Is it this one? Is that one? Yeah, it's got to be that one, surely. See, now, funnily enough, you could go for... If you were buffing Freyna for her crit one in terms of taking down Wallcrasher or something like that, you could go for Toxic Chain Catalyst. Oh no, it's Toxic Skill Power Boost ratio, isn't it? No, you wouldn't have any Toxic Skill Power, so how would you put that on? Unless... What components that we use? Is it crazy to think that you could go with... Hold on. Bear with me on this one. So what do we need? We need... Toxic Skill Power Boost ratio times 12.5%. The max you can do is 20%. What is that? That's divided by 8, isn't it? So 160% Toxic Skill Power would give you the max reduction. Would that be right? So... You could, in theory, run Plague. Because you're gaining a custom resource. With your soundbar thing at the very bottom. So you would get the full bonus of this, which would give you to 64.8%. You could... You could potentially swap that out if I'm already hitting 1,000. I could then put on... This is a lot of investment for this kind of thing, but you could put on that. You could take off increased defense to be able to then go for Toxic Amplification. That would get you up to the 160% that you need. In fact, I think it would probably put you over, wouldn't it? 65... Yeah, that would put you over, so you'd be given the full 20% debuff. Combine that with what Freyna can already take off with Defense Neutralization and Putrid Swamp. You would probably almost... Well, I think you'd hit cap. I think... Isn't cap like 85%? That you could strip off. No, you don't need 1k to be able to give max crit, but you do need the max skill power increase. Yeah. So, obviously it's not going to be hitting as hard unless you've actually hit the cap on that. There might be something there, but it is very specific to Freyna. I might have to make a note of that. Just to be able to test this out. I might need a Freyna at some point, but I might just test this out. Let me just make it. Plague set Luna for Freyna. Yeah, I'll make a note of that. I think I'll give that a test at some point. Because there's got to be something there. Because I haven't seen anyone else cover that. Arcade concentration for HP, you get the movement back. I mean, the question is... What am I on? 823. What does this put me up to? Doesn't put me on max. Why are we in defense? The defense is purely just there just to be able to give me a little bit of tankiness. That's all it was ever there for. But this was from a while back. Who wants to stand in stupid? I mean, not wrong. It was just more just to make sure I don't fall over, in all honesty. But it's been so long since I've looked at buffing Luna. I'm not taking this. This is just slander against my name at this point. Rage, you got the best mods. Are we talking about what's on the screen right now, or are we talking about what I've got going on in the background with all this slander? I do agree increased defense isn't needed now, but got the most MP. We talk about us. Screen is fine, I guess. Cheers. What have I changed? I could have sworn I used to hit 1,000. I haven't changed anything, have I? I've got all the max MP nodes. Race for Prime Minister 2028. I can't be done with that kind of responsibility. No chance. You thought the country's bad right now. It's going to get much worse if I get involved with that kind of thing. Not on purpose. It just will just get completely out of hand, and I just won't know what to do. That's crazy. Actually, how long does this boost last? For 10 seconds, wow. Nimble better. See, now, cooldown doesn't really do anything, though, for a buffing. Does it? Because everything's on the 0 cooldown unless you miss a note. Well, I suppose it does help with the 4th, but that's not really like a huge deal. Go on then, let's inspect. Yeah, same cert, that makes sense. We don't know what it is. Oh, he's not even unlocked. What is this? Well, what's going on here? Hold on a second. What, you can't call me out on my own stream, and you don't even have the trigger module on that. What is this? Wait, hold on. Why is it showing dire? No, you don't even have dire unlocked to 12. Only at 12, honestly. Just can't get the stuff. We can't get the stuff. Also, can we just appreciate Peacemaker finally getting a good skin? Like, what is this? Like, seriously, what is this? And then the other side of Peace that we got in the battle pass. Why is it so damn chunky that's all the way up here? But Coin Eater, oh, I'm goated. Fantastic. Let's try this again, shall we? Oh, it's got even worse. He doesn't even have anything equipped to his Luna. How does it get worse? There we go. Yeah, that makes sense. And with range, but why? I mean, it doesn't really help that I can't see your modules. That's just daft. Like, why? Are you even in this map? Where are you? Oh, you're there. Where are you going? Are you just wanting to meet in the center? Is that what's going on here? I'll come to you then, shall I? I swear to God, if you've teleported now. No, where? You're doing this on purpose. you were doing this on... Mem, it's... Get back. I'm not doing this stream chasing after you for the whole evening. It's... Honestly. Geordie, how's it going? I thought you worked evenings. Hold on, what are you doing up here? It's good to catch you by, anyway. There we go. Now we can see everything. Rhythmic makes sense. Got that. Got Enlightenment. Got HP conversion. We're all good there. Extension makes sense. That's the other thing as well. Ballast. Skill expansion. Amplification control. Why are you going... Hold on. Why are you going range in your mutant cell? You're already at range cap. It's 250 for max range expansion. And you've got skill expansion and you've got amplification control, which essentially puts you at a range cap. So the most you'll be getting from it is what? 140... Most you'll be getting is 6% range, which is... I mean... What, like a meter, if that? No, it's going to be less than that, surely. It's going to be like 0.8 meters or something like that. Something daft. Saying that, I'm looking at mine and I'm... 31. Why am I at 31? 30 meters is cap, isn't it? Oh, I've got range on my... That's why. That matters when you're chasing bunnies. I don't know, I feel like that's a bit of a waste to go all the way up here just to be able to grab that. Now, I mean, the skill stuff here could absolutely be swapped off for things and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, don't know what else you'd put in there. Maybe into movement speed, but that's a long way to go for that. Yeah, I have range on my ancestor mod, of course. Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, you've got amplification control. You've got 2 mods built in for range. I mean, if you took off amplification control, 100% I could see you. What do you mean you don't? I've just seen you do it. You got it there. You got skill expansion. You got amplification control. Are you going to tell me this is bugged as well? You can never have too much range. You can if there's a cap in place. Fenossi, congrats on the anniversary. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. It was, to be fair, if it wasn't for men popping on, I probably would have ended the stream at this point. But I'm happy to kick around a little bit longer. Why not? Let's celebrate. But no, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate that. Yeah, 2 years. Crazy. It's just kind of like disappeared altogether. How was I not following you just yet, Jordan? Well, to be completely honest with you, I think we kind of like started speaking around similar time to when I stopped streaming to be able to welcome in the little one. So yeah, it could be down to that, to be fair. But yeah. So you were telling me with your current setup, you're hitting you're hitting 1,000. I imagine that's going to be the difference between your max MP and my max MP, surely. Because I can't think of what else that possibly could be. You know, we can, you know, I mean, you know, mutant cell is mutant cell and all that kind of thing. I mean, you know, I just want the extra range, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. You know, we can argue that till the cows come home, but there's nothing that's going to be giving me extra MP in terms of the arcade tuning. So there's nothing there I can grab. Sorry, the inversion reinforcement. There's nothing else there that can boost me even further. Cooldown duration up. Makes the most sense. Going for duration and also into max MP, 100%. That makes sense. You hit 975. I'm wondering if it's even possible to actually hit 1,000 MP. Surely there's got to be a way, right? Yeah, I mean, like 5% DPS loss isn't like a big thing or anything like that. No, of course, it's you know, it is what it is. But yeah, but that's where arcade concretion comes into it, doesn't it? Because you will be moving a little bit slower, but that's where rhythmic step kind of comes in to boost you even fire to be able to get you up to. I think this what does this actually outweigh what you actually lose from arcade concretion? No, it's just a flat 22%, isn't it? Whereas this takes a little bit of time to be able to actually build up, but eventually it will do. With enough stacks, it would take around about 7. Are we saying about 7 to be able to actually get you back to normal? It's also not permanent. Well, I mean, to a certain degree, so neither is concretion. You can just roll or use your grapple hook, but I mean, if you're going buffing, and like I say, if it's speedrun, then 100%. You can just you know, you take off concretion, you don't need it and all that kind of thing. But I suppose in Wall Crusher, where you're mostly standing still, especially with like a Freyner, concretion's probably going to be the shout. So that's probably the flex spot. As for increased defense, yeah, you're probably right. I probably could take that off with something. But what could you possibly go for? Well, I don't need that, so There's no point there. Oh, if only we could get Lucky Coin. I really like Lucky Coin. Such a good mod. Oh yeah, tracking, so now. Well, you could get yourself a little bit of moves, but nah, it's probably not worth it for that. Trying to think, what could you put instead of increased defense? Do I need to head out? Great stream. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, this isn't going to be lasting too much longer. I probably will be calling it by the time next Wall Crusher kind of like rolls around. I'm just kind of clear him out. So, but I do appreciate you stopping by and helping out in the chat and being so chatty. So thank you so much. You've really made the second anniversary stream all that special. So I'll definitely be catching you around in the Discord. Probably a little bit more tomorrow and all that kind of thing. Run duration. I mean, I've already got extension and MP accelerant, so I don't know where else I can go. Because MP accelerant's still giving me max MP, isn't it? Oh, well, I suppose saying that if I'm running concretion, I don't need this tiny bit there, do I? Does give you an extra second. What does that put me down to? 805. Three. Yeah, I mean, firstly, thanks mate. I'll be cooking some fish and chips while I watch this stream. Oh, I appreciate it. I mean, enjoy the fish and chips. Not at all jealous on my side of things, considering I'm trying to eat a little bit healthier. I would absolutely kill for some fish and chips right now. Yeah, I suppose if I'm going concretion, you probably would get. It's just a case of what I'm replacing this defense up with. Because I gotta be honest, I'm struggling to think what else you would go for. I don't need the range. If I needed range from the Ancestor module, if I didn't have it there, I absolutely would be going for amplification control. But I don't need it there. Don't need Spear and Shield, because I'm not putting any skill power into anything that I'm applying. I can't get any more HP. I can't get any more max MP. Maybe that's it. Maybe I've just created a flex spot because of the increased range on my Ancestor module. Oh yeah, bosses are up. There's got to be something in here. No. No. What are you? No. No, not gonna work. Chauffeurs, no. I mean, I could swap it for an MP recovery thing, because it does cost you to get through this, but nothing obvious is standing out. No. Hooray. I did something. wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on Embark Studio, the finals, Arc Raiders promotion by Nexon as the next Nexon Games CEO? Do you know what? I didn't know that bit. I knew they were connected. What's this? Next appoints Patrick Söderlund as new executive chairman to accelerate global strategy, transform creative direction, and lead the next phase. Okay. Oh, I did hear something about this actually. Yeah, yeah. Cause I saw like a meme talking about yeah, about how he came from like EA Dice, did all the really fantastic stuff, then left to go to Embark, did all this really fantastic stuff, and now he's actually finally getting the recognition. So, I mean, fair play. I mean, to be fair, I can't say a bad word about Embark. Embark have they've done some really good stuff recently. I am a big fan of the finals. Oh, did you just want? I could do a firearm buffer if you want. Which one are you again? You're... No. That one. Crit rate, crit damage. Wait, those are additive. Jesus. Well, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, Embark have done some crazy stuff. Like I say, I love the finals. In fact, one of the last things I did as the when I was on the group channel was covering the finals content, and that was some of the the skits that I was watching back, and I was like, oh, I miss doing that kind of stuff. It was so good. But I covered loads of things on that. I covered like weapon guides. I covered like the breakdowns of it. Covered. Woo. I even did it's similar to like a couple of Team Fortress 2 YouTubers with their bad weapon academies and all that kind of thing. I did like breakdowns of that. Like I really enjoyed the finals for what it was. It was a really good game. It still is, to be fair. As for Arc Raiders, I can't say I've got into that as much, which is a bit of a shame. I don't think it's a bad game or anything like that. I just for some reason just don't enjoy my time as much in it. It just feels like the game, but like the gunplay doesn't feel impactful every single time I play it. But that's a personal thing. That's I'm not saying that that should be the case and all that kind of thing for everyone, all that and blah 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 blah. But I can still appreciate it being a really fantastic game and all that kind of thing. But I mean, well deserved if that's the case. Got some. It's some. Yeah, some really good stuff. I suppose that's all I can really say. I can't really say like follow the guy's career or anything like that, but I just know that I've really enjoyed the finals for what it is. It's a chaotic game. The Levolution kind of like aspect of that is fantastic. The game modes itself are unique and fun. It is kind of like a weird kind of like go out and capture everything and all that kind of thing, and then Guardis, so it's like a weird kind of like attack and defense, and you're rewarded for teamwork and everything like that. It's very well done. It's really I really do enjoy it. If you want like a fast-paced first-person shooter, I'd highly recommend. And it's free as well, just makes it even better. Some of the cosmetics are really nice as well. So yeah, if they can do something like that, whether he's going to impact TFD in that kind of sense, that would be kind of cool. But you know, I'd like to think that someone with that kind of vision to be able to pull off those two Gunner games with their studio would, you know, absolutely be someone that could help shape the future of TFD. But whether they're necessarily going to be on that kind of like thing, I guess we'll kind of find out. The finals is a fantastic game. I need to jump back on it and check out all the new stuff. Absolutely. In fact, I think it's probably been close to 2 years since I last played it. In fact, let me put my Steam up. Finals. No, it's... I apparently last played it April last year. So yeah, so I'm definitely missing out on a lot of time. But yeah, no, it's a great game. Absolutely fantastic. I like how you say you never liked the finals, but the throwing knives are peak. Now, the last time I played the finals, the throwing knives were awful, and I genuinely made a video talking about the throwing knives being goddamn awful. They might be so much better now, but I remember just being the bane of my life. They were so bad to be able to play with. They are horrible. I literally came up with options. I actually talked about it as a bad weapon. Like, I had to fix the throwing knives. You might still be able to find it, funnily enough. I say might, you absolutely would. If you typed in Babylon and throwing knives, you probably would find it. But, yeah, just... I hated getting footage for that. It was awful. So if you can share some best practices with the experience with Magnum, yeah, I mean, it's wishful thinking. You know, I can only hope that we're going to see, you know, some kind of like change like that. You know, I mean, nothing wrong with having a bit of hope about it all, but whether he's going to necessarily affect it since, you know, there's more shooters and not necessarily TFD, but I suppose he might be able to branch into it. I guess time will tell. Where are you? Where's Men? I just missed his name. There he is. Oh, got an ancestor mod for my troubles. Oh, it's a Eugen one. Oh, I really contributed there. Oh. Not great. Awful. Awful. Not a bad roll in the last bit of that. Oh, you would do, wouldn't you? Wait, you hit 3.2 bill? Oh, fair enough. Clearly the buff was there. Sound? Right, I actually might call it there so I can get myself a little bit of decent rest and catch up a little bit on some sleepless nights. But thank you all so much for stopping by. It genuinely does mean a lot to me, and kind of warm my heart at the fact that so many of you have stopped with me to enjoy the second anniversary thing. I like I said, I'm looking to be able to stream a little bit more often and everything like that, so you will start seeing this face a little bit more often. But I will keep everyone up to date on the Discord. I'll update with like a post on the YouTube and all that kind of thing. So there will be some communication from me once I get that down to like some kind of like routine and everything like that. But no, thank you all so much. It really does mean a lot, and yeah, I hope you have a nice rest of your evening, nice rest of the week, and there's going to be some content coming out this week, and hopefully I'll catch you over on that. But in the meantime, as I always say, keep yourself safe, keep yourselves well. I'll see you all on the next video.